Tonight, multiple Orleans Parish inmates are still missing as new video shows 3 of them walking through the CBD just an hour after their escape. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Devin Bartolotta.
And I'm Sharice Gibson. So no new arrests today as the search continues for those 5 men, but we've still seen plenty of developments.
Now, this afternoon, the governor signed an executive order directing multiple state agencies to take aggressive action to rebuild public trust and tighten oversight.
Meanwhile, a jail employee arrested yesterday is now saying he's wrongfully been caught in the middle. We'll explain in a moment.
But first, 2 area women are now in jail, accused of helping some of the fugitives after they broke out. Our Whitney Miller has the latest.
The search continues for multiple inmates who escaped from the Orleans Justice Center. Several have been captured, but others remain on the run.
They should be arrested for doing this.
We talked with a victim of one of the captured inmates over the phone. He asked to stay anonymous, but wanted to share how dangerous it is when people help these fugitives.
I would leave town if I was anybody dealing with those 5.
Now, 2 people are behind bars, accused of helping some of them after they got out. 32-year-old Courtney Harris of New Orleans and 38-year-old Cravante Baptiste of Slidell were arrested. State police say Harris was in contact with one escapee who is still missing, and she allegedly drove 2 others around the city. Baptiste is accused of helping Corey Boyd, one of the inmates now back in custody. Investigators say she stayed in contact with Boyd and brought him food while he was in hiding. Boyd was arrested near Iberville and Tremay, right by this gated apartment complex. It's where officers focused their search before taking him into custody. At a press conference, state police made it clear helping fugitives is a dead end.
If you are helping and assisting these fugitives, allowing them to remain uncaptured and not brought to justice, there will be consequences.
Harris and Baptiste are charged with felony accessory after the fact, a crime that carries up to 5 years in prison.
The 2 that was arrested last night, they got 5 years they got to deal with now.
Frustration is growing in the community over how authorities have handled the escape and the ongoing search.
I mean, on the other hand, I think that the sheriff should resign her position because it seems like she doesn't know what she's doing, and I think that the jail doesn't know what they're doing either.
There is a $20,000 reward for information that leads to the capture of each remaining escapee. In New Orleans, Whitney Miller, WWL, Louisiana.
One Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office employee is also facing charges related to the jailbreak. Tonight, we're hearing from his defense attorney.
He claims he was caught up in the middle and was only fulfilling a maintenance request ordered by a deputy. Lily Cummings explains.
Michael Kennedy says his client, 33-year-old Sterling Williams, is innocent.
That he was used as a tool by the escapees and is being used as a fall guy by Sheriff Hudson.
The defense attorney admitted that Williams turned off water to the cell 10 inmates eventually escaped from, but says there's more to the story.
He was told by a deputy there was no work order. He asked, and the deputy convinced him that as he was there, could he just look at it? He assessed the situation, determined he would have to shut off the water to fix it, which he did in his role as jail plumber.
The inmates were then able to saw through these steel bars and escape behind a toilet. Court documents show one of the escapees, Antoine Massey, allegedly threatened to shank the worker if he refused to turn off the water.
He didn't take this as a threat. He wasn't acting out of fear. He was taking this as normal jailhouse banter.
Kennedy says Williams worked at the jail for 5 years and has never been arrested. Now he's facing 10 counts of principal to simple escape and 1 count of malfeasance in office. Hudson previously said 3 OPSO employees have been suspended. It's unclear if Williams is included in that number and how many are deputies or staff.
As part of our corrective action plan, several OPSO employees have already been suspended without pay. More disciplinary actions are under review.
Williams' bond is $1.1 million, an amount his attorney says he can't afford.
They are way out of bounds. That is completely ridiculous.
Now he's waiting on his next hearing at a different, undisclosed jail. Lily Cummings, WWL, Louisiana.
And Williams' next court date is June 17th. We have reached out to the sheriff's office for more on those suspended, but have yet to hear back. And if you know anything about where the 5 remaining escapees may be, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. Remember, there's a $20,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest.
In your breakdown, the largest jailbreaks in American history and where New Orleans ranks on the list. Now, this is the most comprehensive list we could come up with based on FBI information, old news articles, and historical resources. First, the current situation is not even the biggest jailbreak in Louisiana history. 21 inmates escaped from Orleans Parish Prison in December of 1968. There's not a lot of information easily available about that jailbreak. An article in the New York Times reads, quote, 21 dangerous criminals smashed a hole through the attic, and described it as, quote, an overcrowded jail described as a rat-infested 16th century asylum. 11 inmates escaped from the Dade County Jail in Florida in 1974, and one inmate awaiting trial for a double murder in that instance killed a store clerk while on the run for more than 3 months. Other notable escapes include one in Clovis, New Mexico, where 8 inmates climbed up plumbing pipes and cut a hole in a roof. 7 escaped from Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary in 1977, including James Earl Ray. These do not even compare to the scale of some escapes in other parts of the world. But in the United States, New Orleans now makes the list twice.